how I made $2,450 in one day as a real estate private money lender. My name is Zach Pasquarello, and I am going to be making these YouTube videos very consistently every week for the next year, teaching you everything that I have learned about private money lending. If this is your first time watching my videos, I've been making YouTube videos for the past 4 years. I first started talking about my trucking company, and then I started teaching people how to start their own bookkeeping business. And I run my own bookkeeping business for the past 4 years. And now I'm going to start talking about my private money lending business because I'm really excited about it. I think this is the coolest thing ever. And the really cool thing, I learned about this business, honestly, by accident. So I make a ton of videos teaching people how to start their own bookkeeping business. That's kind of been my thing for the past 2 years. And honestly, I was going to wait until 2026 to start making these videos, but oh my goodness, I am too excited. I'm so bullish on real estate private money lending. I'm passionate about it. I want to tell everybody. I can't wait. I cannot wait until 2026. So this is the first video. I'm going to create a new series, and I'm going to teach you everything that I've learned about private money lending for real estate. Now, keep in mind, I am an open book. I am all about transparency. I've only been doing this for 2 years. So I'm not an expert. I don't have all the answers. I have not encountered every scenario imaginable. However, I have 2 years of experience. And so hopefully, if you're watching this video, if you don't know anything about private money lending, or maybe you know a little bit and you're thinking about getting started, hopefully my experience can help teach you at least one thing by watching this video. So I'm going to talk to you about a very specific deal that I did last week. $2,450 in one day. And the cool thing is, it was a $45,000 loan, so a relatively low dollar amount. Now, before we get too far into this, I will say the one requirement to begin as a private money lender is liquidity, capital, cash. You need to have money to get started. So I understand that not everybody has access to cash. Not everybody has liquidity that they can deploy into private money loans. And if you don't have it, you might have access to it. Maybe you have a line of credit, a home equity line of credit, or just a business line of credit that you could access capital that way. So whatever way you access capital, you need to have cash to get started as a private money lender. I usually tell people $25,000 seems to be a good starting point. So if you don't have $25,000 yet, keep watching, because as soon as you get to that point, you can take the lessons learned from these videos and become a private money lender. It's not super complicated, but it does require a decent amount of experience and knowledge and ability to analyze certain documents. So this is the first video that I'm going to make, and then I'm going to go through a systematic series where I really break down the numbers of deals that I've done in the past and how I got to this point, how I started, what I do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. So I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of freeballing this video right here. It's kind of an audible. I wasn't planning on making this video, but I just woke up this morning and I was just super excited to talk about private money lending. So here I am talking about it. I've got two things going on. So a little bit of background about my private money lending journey. I've been doing this for 2 years. I've done over $2 million of loans, 25 different loans. I've had 0 defaults, 0 foreclosures. Right now, as we speak, I have $850,000 of my own cash lent out to private money lenders. My own cash, my own money lent out to I misspoke, not to private money lenders, to real estate investors. $850,000 of my own cash lent out to real estate investors. And simply put, I ran out of money. There is so much more demand for cash than I have supply of cash. So I am not afraid to teach people everything that I'm doing, because there are more than enough borrowers who need people like us. Real estate investors need people regular people like you and me who have $25, $50, $100,000 of cash laying around. So if you're that kind of person, if you've got $25,000 or more of cash laying around, watch all my videos. I'm going to teach you how you can make really good passive income as a private money lender for real estate investors. Now, I've got two goals. I'll be honest with you. I have two goals. Number one, my goal, I love teaching. Go back, look through my 500 other YouTube videos. I promise you, I genuinely love talking about my passions and teaching people what I know. So that's goal number one, to teach you what I know about private money lending so that you can go out and do your own real estate private money lending. But I'll be honest, my second goal is to attract investors into my fund. If you want to do your own lending, cool, go do it. I'm about to give you all the tools that you need to become your own private money lender. But after watching this video and my next 100 videos, if you decide that you don't want to do your own lending, you can invest into my fund. It is a 506c debt fund. You can look it up. You have to be an accredited investor to invest into my fund, and I'm offering 8 to 12% annual fixed returns to my investors. So you give me money, I pay you 8 to 12% fixed annual returns, and then I turn around and I use your money and I lend it to real estate investors through private money lending. So it's a debt fund. So I am investing in debt, aka mortgages, aka real estate private money lending. So it's like a hedge fund or a venture capital fund or a private equity fund, except those invest in public securities or venture capital or private equity. I'm not doing that. It's similar to that, but I'm not doing that. Instead, it's a debt fund. So I invest into debt. That's how I'm able to offer 8 to 12% fixed returns to my investors. It's not sexy like a venture capital or a hedge fund. You're not going to make 20%. I'll be honest. You're not going to make 20%, but it's relatively secure because all of my loans inside my fund are secured with a mortgage. So worst case scenario, my borrowers default on their loans. I go through the foreclosure process. I take over the property. I sell the property. I get my money back. So debt funds, relatively lower returns than what you might get from a venture capital or a hedge fund, but fixed returns, supposed to be less volatile. Okay, let's talk about it. How did I make $2,450 in one day? I gave a real estate investor $45,000 last week, literally last week. Today's March 10th. If you're watching this video this week, super current, last week, last Thursday in Scranton, Pennsylvania. If you've ever watched The Office, Michael Scott, then you know that's where The Office takes place. Northeastern Pennsylvania, Scranton, PA. My real estate investor is buying a property for $45,000. Now, I was able to make $2,450 using two things, an origination fee and a processing fee. If you've ever purchased a property, almost every bank, mortgage broker, lending institution charges fees. Underwriting fee, processing fee, wire fee, transfer fee, origination fee. So I charge 3% origination fee, but I have some minimums. So you can see this loan was $45,000. So if it's a $100,000 loan or more, 3% origination fee. If it's less than $100,000, there's a minimum $3,000 origination fee. If it's less than $50,000, there's a minimum $2,000 origination fee. Simply because most banks, most lending institutions won't even give somebody a loan for less than $100,000 because it's not worth their time. It's a lot of work. I'm going to explain the whole process that I go through. It's a lot of work to do one of these loans. So they don't want to waste their time with a $45,000 loan. So I will, because I'm a small lender. So I charged a $2,000 origination fee. And then on top of that, I charged a $450 processing fee. Some of that goes into legal document preparation, sending the money, coordinating with the title agent. There is a decent amount of communication, coordination, and work that goes into finalizing and closing one of these loans. So $45,000 loan, $2,450 origination fee on the day of closing, received upfront. 1 day of work. On top of all that, 12% annual interest only, 1% per month, $45,000 loan, $450 monthly interest payment. These loans typically go 6 months. So in 6 months, I'll collect $2,700 of interest, 1% for 6 months. And on top of that, add in the origination fee, the processing fee. $2,000 plus $450 plus $2,700 is $5,150. So just from me lending $45,000 one time in 6 months, I'm going to make more than $5,000. That is an 11% return on my cash. And you might be thinking 11%, okay, that's not very great. But here's the thing. It only took 6 months. So I can turn around and do that again, which brings my annual return 22%. That's really good. Consistent, secured, fixed returns. That's really good. I'm making 22% annual returns on this $45,000. That's how I'm able to offer 8 to 12% fixed returns to my investors. So if you want to invest into my fund, this is the kind of stuff I'm doing. I'll gladly pay you 8 to 12% fixed returns. There's a link in the description of this video. You can sign up to register for my fund, Zip Capital. You can sign up today, sign the agreement, wire the money. You will be invested into my fund. If you don't want to do that, totally fine. You can do this. You can do your own private money lending. Okay, let me spend a little bit of time walking you through high-level details of how this works. Bear with me. Hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully this gets you guys excited, because 22% returns, are you kidding me? You guys can do this stuff. You don't need to be a bank or a millionaire or 65 years old or a real estate investor or have a finance degree. You don't need any of that. You just need cash. You just need cash and the knowledge that I'm about to give you. So 2 things. First, you got to get money, which that's up to you. You got to get money. Number 2, you have to find interested investors, borrowers, which is actually pretty easy. Ton of people want money. So you got to find real estate investors. So that you got to go to social media, networking events, reach out to real estate agents, local loan officers, title agents. You got to get creative. I promise you, there are real estate investors who need your money. Now, once you find people, you have to mitigate risk. You're operating as a bank, so you have to mitigate risk. And you do that by underwriting the borrower. And so you're going to look at 2 things. You're going to look at the borrower as an individual, and you're also going to look at the property. So high level, I'm going to quickly go over these things, and then in the future, in the next coming weeks, I'm going to break this stuff down into more detail. But high level, look at the borrower, tax returns, bank statements, financial reports, P&L, balance sheet, pay stubs, investor experience. Look at all that stuff. Make sure they're creditworthy. Make sure they have a stable job, a successful business, money in the bank account. Make sure they've maybe done a couple flips in the past. Look into their investor experience. Maybe they were a construction worker in the past. Just today, I spoke with an individual who has no experience, but her and her husband have $200,000 of annual W-2 income. So there's some security, some liquidity. There's some cash available. Because they don't have experience, I'm willing to take on a little bit more risk because they have strong W-2 income. So if they make mistakes or don't make as much money as they planned on it, they should have enough money to pay me back. So underwrite the borrower, and then also underwrite the property on a case-by-case basis. Look at the comps that they use to calculate the ARV, super important. Also, look at the scope of work for their renovation plan to make sure their rehab budget makes sense. And I want itemized, line by line, dollar amount for each specific item. $500 landscaping, $4,000 framing and drywall, $2,000 painting, $6,000 appliances, things like that. I want to see a detailed scope of work. And then finally, once they've been approved, now you go through the process. Now you're going to want to get a mortgage, a promissory note, and a personal guarantee. I work with a real estate attorney and a title agent to draft my documents. You also want to get certificate of insurance. You want to get property insurance. You want the borrower to get property insurance and make sure you as the lender are listed as additionally insured. And then you also want the title agent to get you a lender's title policy. And then you also want to get pictures of the property. And that's pretty much it. So once you've approved their creditworthiness, underwritten them as an individual, looked at the property, get all those documents, and then go to closing. Have them sign the document. You get your check at closing for origination fee, processing fee, underwriting fee. And that's it, guys. I'm going to keep making these videos. I'm going to keep talking about it. Reach out if you want to chat. I've got a link in the description of this video. You can schedule a one-on-one consultation with me. You can go to my website. I also have a Facebook group. I forgot to mention, I created a Facebook group for other people interested in learning about private money lending. That's it, guys. Stay tuned. Next week, I'm going to go into more detail. Let me know your questions. Subscribe to my channel if this is your first time watching. I'm going to be putting out new videos every week teaching you about private money lending. And if you're one of my bookkeeper followers, don't worry. I'm going to also continue making videos talking about teaching you how to start and grow your own bookkeeping business.